And in a brilliant, unexpected pole position, Jean-Pierre Jarier in the Lotus 79. Second fastest, Jody Scheckter, 1977's winner. Second row, Montreal's own Gilles Villeneuve in the Ferrari and John Watson in the Brabham Alpha. And world champion Mario Andretti right back in the fifth row. Go, and straight into the first of the 70 laps goes Jean-Pierre Jarier into the lead in the Lotus 79. Jarier only the 5th Grand Prix of the year. He put up a record lap in the American Grand Prix and now he's out to impress for a 1979 drive. And my goodness, he's doing it already. Look at the way he's pulling away from the field behind him. Jarier leads, Scheckter in second position. Jones is challenging in the Saudia Williams in third position. Into the chicane, lap 1. And it's Jarier, Jones up into second place, Scheckter down to third. Villeneuve in fourth position and John Watson in the Brabham Alpha in fifth place. Round the right-hander, out of it, Jarier pulling away, an incredible demonstration of the way this Lotus 79 goes, and Fittipaldi is out of the race. He's hit Stuck, he's on the mud and out of the running, but not Jarier. He's pulling away, he's increasing his lead all the time. 6 seconds already is the gap between Jarier and Jones in the Saudia Williams. Jarier has driven the older-fashioned ATS earlier this season. He didn't shine. He got a special drive in the American Grand Prix, and now he's pulling away from the midfield men on this demanding, twisty circuit. 15 corners to the lap, 70 laps, over 1,000 corners on the 200 miles, and it's bitterly, bitterly cold for the competitors. A real test not only of the drivers, but of the tyres and their compounds as well. Jabouille in the Renault, well down, a difficult car to drive on this circuit. And there's the battle for second place. It's Jones, Scheckter, Villeneuve and Patrick Depailler in the Elf Tyrrell up to fifth position, the man who won at Monaco. Alan Jones trying to finish off this season well. He was brilliant in America. He's in the same position in this race as he finished in the United States. Second, Alan Jones then, the Australian. Behind him, Jody Scheckter, the man who won this race but at a different circuit last year. This is Schecter's last drive in the Wolf. Villeneuve in fourth position, Patrick Depailler there in fifth place. And a crowd of over 100,000 Canadians here rooting for one man, the man in the red car there, number 12, Gilles Villeneuve. That's Patrick Depailler in fifth position. Battle for second, Jones, Scheckter, Villeneuve. Look at the smooth, effortless way that Alan Jones wheels the Saudia Williams around the corners. And there's Mario Andretti, the world champion, in only 17th position. He hit John Watson on the 6th lap, and Mario Andretti is driving as quickly as he can to try and get up to the World Championship points position, and John Watson is out of the race with a broken suspension. James Hunt in front with René Arnoux, the Frenchman, in the Surtees behind him. Hunt in his last race in this McLaren because he's taking Jody Scheckter's place in the Wolf next year. Patrick Depailler into the pits for new front tyres. But Alan Jones and Jody Scheckter still battling for second position. Villeneuve there, still in fourth position. But Scheckter is closing up on Alan Jones. Jody Scheckter, the South African, is challenging the Australian. Alan Jones will see Schecter's Wolf looming large in his mirrors as he goes round the right-hander, sets it up for the left-hander, and Villeneuve in the 12-cylinder Ferrari is gaining on both of them. Is Alan Jones holding up Jody Scheckter and Gilles Villeneuve? It looks possible. Villeneuve comes to try and take Scheckter and drops back. Right, left, setting it up beautifully. Villeneuve is obviously playing a waiting game, watching the two cars in front of him, and he seems to think that something is going to happen. And that's Jarier. Jarier now leading by 21 seconds and in a class of his own. 20 laps completed in this 70-lap race. Villeneuve is up to third position. He's got ahead of Jones, so that means that Jody Scheckter only and Jarier are in front of him. Thumbs up from the Canadian Marshal, and no wonder. Jones in the white Saudia Williams there, back to fourth position. There's the second place man, Jody Scheckter in number 20 in the Wolf. Villeneuve behind him and gaining. Jones in 4th position. And now Scheckter's got the challenge of Villeneuve in his wheel tracks. It's Villeneuve in the Ferrari. There is Scheckter. And Scheckter will know that with Villeneuve having the Canadian crowd willing him on, he's got a real battle. So Scheckter in 2nd place, Villeneuve 3rd, Jones down to 4th. And this is lap 25. Jody Scheckter to Ferrari in 1979. James Hunt to take Jody Scheckter's seat in the Wolf in 1979. There is Scheckter. Villeneuve still some 10 car lengths behind the Wolf, but a long way to go in this race yet, and anything could happen, and very often does in Grand Prix racing. Scheckter, who's had a bad season in the middle of the year, but has picked up considerably at the closing stages, and he's finishing his Wolf career with a blaze of glory. In 2nd position, Jarier in front of him, Villeneuve 3rd, Jones 4th, Reutemann 5th, and Riccardo Patrese in the arrows up to 6th position, and Villeneuve is challenging and trying to get through. But Jody Scheckter shuts the door in his face, and back to 3rd position goes Gilles Villeneuve. But Villeneuve is going to keep on pressing. The crowd is willing him on. There's 100,000 of them there, and that's the man they want to win. And it looks as though Villeneuve is past. Look at that reaction. And there he is, Gilles Villeneuve in the 12-cylinder Ferrari, ideally suited to this circuit, is up into 2nd position with only Jean-Pierre Jarier in the seemingly invincible Lotus 79 in front of him. Carlos Reutemann, number 11, up to 4th place in the Ferrari. He has 4 wins behind him in 1978. This is his 100th Grand Prix. He's up to 3rd position in the World Championship because Niki Lauda is out, and this is his last drive in the Ferrari because next year he's going to drive for Lotus. Riccardo Patrese, number 35, 5th position back in Grand Prix racing with a fine drive after being excluded from the American Grand Prix at Watkins Glen for alleged dangerous driving in previous races, especially Monza. The battle for 6th position, number 22, Derek Daly, the Irish driver, in his first season of Grand Prix racing in 6th position. Behind him in the blue and white Elf Tyrrell, Didier Pironi in his first season of Grand Prix racing. 2 of the new boys and stars of the future. But it's Jarier's race so far, an incredible comeback. Number 55, the leader, having lapped Patrick Tambay in the McLaren behind him, and Jacques Lafitte in the Ligier behind him. This is a real demonstration of what a fabulous car that Lotus 79 is. And look at the way that Jarier goes through the corners, keeping well away from the curbs, and Lafitte is taking him. Lafitte in the Ligier ahead of Jarier. And that means the Frenchman must be in trouble. And look there, Patrick Depailler is up into 6th position in the blue and white Tyrrell, ahead of Derek Daly in the dark Ensign. And Didier Pironi in the other Elf Tyrrell is down to 8th position. Jarier out. Jean-Pierre Jarier in the pits and out of the race with no oil pressure after leading for 47 laps. And that means that the Canadian Gilles Villeneuve, number 12, is leading his first Grand Prix on his home ground in Canada with that crowd willing him on to victory. Villeneuve, who led at Long Beach, where he went out of the race. He led at Monza, where he was penalised. He's going to win his own home Grand Prix in front of Prime Minister Trudeau. And there's a bitterly disappointed Jean-Pierre Jarier joining Colin Chapman, but at least Jarrier's got the consolation that he's a certainty for a top drive next year. Lap 62, Jody Scheckter in 2nd position with just 22 miles to go. Reutemann up to 3rd position, Patrese now 4th, Depailler in 5th position, and Derek Daly in the points in 6th place. And James Hunt off the circuit, out of the race, an unhappy end to his last drive for McLaren, because next year he goes to Wolf. James wearily despondently trudges through the mud and looks as though he aims to cross the circuit, but not if that marshal's got anything to do with it. Do you mind going the other way? Yes, indeed I do, says James. Crosses the course and walks back to the pits, as Gilles Villeneuve on his last lap is almost home to his first Grand Prix win, the 5th Ferrari win of 1978, and in this race Reutemann's Ferrari third, with 1979 Ferrari team leader Jody Scheckter second in his Canadian sponsored Wolf. Villeneuve wins, and 100,000 cheering Canadians go wild with delight at the first ever Grand Prix win by a Canadian in, of all places, Canada. Gilles' day without a doubt. Villeneuve the winner then, Jody Scheckter second, Reutemann third, Patrese fourth, Depailler fifth and Daly sixth. An epic end to a truly dramatic season of Grand Prix racing.